So my name is Charisse Magsipok. I'm an admissions advisor for Divine Mercy University for the Master's in Counseling program, as well as the Master's in Psychology program. And I am a recent alumna of this university. I graduated in May with my Master's in Psychology. I used to work in a parish, and I was able to utilize the tools and that master's degree for to revamp sacraments programs at my parish. So I'm happy to be here at Divine Mercy University because I love this school and I had a great experience, great professors, great students, and I still talk to my cohort today. So hopefully I'll be able to show you just how much I love this university and how much this university can offer you in terms of value, what they're going to teach you, as well as getting your degree in counseling. Thank you so much, Kyle. So let's go ahead and get started with 5 reasons to earn a master's in counseling. Again, for those who are slowly trickling in, if there are, please feel free to use the Q&A for any questions, and I'll answer them at the end of the presentation. So Divine Mercy University is a Catholic institution comprised of 2 schools. In 1999, it was founded as the Institute for the Psychological Sciences, IPS, and that's how I learned about Divine Mercy University. Was back in college. I went to a focus conference and the IPS was there. And in 2014, the Institute launched its Master's in Psychology program. And then 2015 they introduced the School of Counseling. So because of those 2 schools, it was expanded to Divine Mercy University. So we really focus on this Catholic Christian understanding of the person, marriage, and family. For sure, when you're looking into schools, this is something you want to look into is our accreditations. We are institutionally accredited by SACS, which is the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. This is something you want to look at every school that you want to apply to and look into, because if they don't have that accreditation, we're in the opposite direction, right? So SACS deals with the Southern Association. So we have all the way from Virginia down to Florida, down also west into Texas. So you're talking about Virginia Tech, University of Florida, University of Texas, Auburn, Georgia Tech. All of those schools also fall under SACS. We have met and exceeded all standards in our evaluations as well. We are also accredited through SHEV, which means that we can offer the schooling in Virginia, as well as NC Sarah. Our accreditation for there means that we can operate as an online school. And the most important accreditation for our Master's in Counseling is through CACREP. So that is the Council for Accreditation of Counseling and Related Educational Programs. And if you ask any counselor, this is an accreditation that's very important. We just received it in August. So that means that we are accredited in doing counseling education. And on August 10th, 2023. That's a very important accreditation. So really what makes Divine Mercy unique is this textbook. It's called the Catholic Christian Meta Model of the Human Person. And it was created by a lot of our core faculty here at Divine Mercy University. And it was an amazing textbook. When I read through it during my Master's in Psychology, we read it in chapters and separated throughout all of the core courses. So you can think about it as like, it's the DNA thread that runs through all of the courses here at DMU. We look through the person through 3 different lenses: theological, philosophical, and psychological. And essentially what that means is that we don't want to just see the person for their brokenness. We don't want to see them or label them because of something that they've done, what they did, what they're experiencing. No, they are more than that. We want to heal the whole person. We want to see their background, their environment, their education, all these things that fall into who we are as a person. We want to see them as a whole. So for those who are not Catholic, I don't want to scare you in thinking that we are some religious school. We don't teach religion, but at the same time, we do teach this idea of the whole person, that God has created us to flourish, and through the means of fulfilling our vocation and practicing virtues, we can really not only flourish for ourselves, but also help others flourish. So that is the Catholic Christian Meta Model of the Human Person. So reason number 1 to become a licensed mental health professional is that you want to become a mental health counselor. So our MS in clinical mental health counseling is designed to meet the educational requirements for professional counseling licensure. So we are able to license through KCREP. We are able to license 49 out of 50 states. I'm sorry, Rhode Island. We are working on that, but we are able to license in 49 out of 50 states. There are some states that require additional requirements, but that you can look through that through our website for the differences in each state. So typically, after you complete our program, you're able to sit for the licensure exam. And this is a great statistic because 100% of our students who sit for the licensing exam pass, 100%. So that's amazing. And we love that statistic a lot. You'll hear it again later. So usually what happens after you become, you pass your licensing exam, you become provisionally licensed for 2 years. So after you pass that exam, you can already start practicing as a counselor, but usually there's a supervisor over you that can, potentially help you through any challenges you're going through, look over your cases, someone you can partner up with that can supervise your work. And after those 2 years, then you can become a fully licensed mental health counselor. So that licensing is really a student-driven process. So it's very important to research in your own state what is required. But again, we have all of that on our website. Okay. Reason number 2 is that you gain practical experience through 3 residencies, practicum, and internship. So our program for our master's in counseling is a online hybrid program. So the majority of it is online. However, we do have 3 in-person residencies. So these residencies bring students together 3 times across this program. So it's a great time to actually meet your cohort, to meet your faculty, of course, there are just some things in counseling that you cannot learn online. There has to be face-to-face interaction. So these residencies are built into the program. The first one is within your first class. So it's around closer to the midpoint or closer to the end, that first class. There's that second one halfway through your course, and the third residency before you start the practicum. And these, I believe, start Wednesday night all the way through Sunday. So it's about a 4-day intensive residency. So just think about it like even doctors have to go through residency before they start practicing medicine. So these residencies are required and they are on site. And there is a cost built into your tuition, which covers training, hotels, and most meals. So practicum is a key opportunity for students to begin their real practical aspects of their training. So that happens before internship. So we kind of call it a pre-internship. There's about 100 hours where you get to really learn how your internship site works, the intake process, the group sessions, how scheduling works, and 40 of those hours are direct service with actual clients. And then after that practicum, there are 2 internships that follow, and each internship is 300 hours, spans about 16 weeks. So total practicum internship clock over 700 hours. Students are responsible for securing that practicum and internship site within their area. But don't worry, we have directors of internships that will provide some assistance in helping you locate and help you find the internship site that really gears towards what you want to do. So for example, if we're looking, that's the next slide. Let me go back. So we have 2 directors of internship that'll help you find these internship sites. So I will mention those directors here in a second. You'll be able to learn from experienced faculty. So Dr. Vivleka, I'm sorry, I'm still trying to learn how to say her last name, but I just call her Dr. V. And I met her a couple weeks ago at the last residency, and she's amazing. She's really helpful and really love to help students in the program. You have Dr. Keys and Dr. Sharp, who are both directors of internship and training. So these directors are very important in helping you locate and helping you secure that internship site. So another 100% statistics is that all of our students are placed when they apply for their internships, 100% internship placement. So that's really great statistics to have. And Dr. Keys and Dr. Sharp basically take one side of the country and the other side as well. So we have 2 other professors here, Dr. Dialiaco and Dr. Humes, who are both great program professors as well. Dr. Dialiaco is actually in the Philippines, so even if, so he's one of our international professors as well. So it's really great to have more of a varied faculty here at DNU. So speaking of internships, your internship site should really focus on really what you would prefer to do, right? Like the one great reasons to gain this master's in counseling is that you get to increase your employment and salary opportunities. So for example, if you wanted to go into family therapy or marriage counseling, it would help you find an internship site that matches that focus. Or if you prefer to do grief and trauma or substance abuse, that's something that you would focus your internship site on. So this is a short list of some of what our alumni have chosen to do. So it's really amazing to have a growing alumni base too, just to see where they're all interning at and where they're working at. So it's very important to think about where you want to place your professional roots down, like which focus you want to do. But don't worry, this master's in counseling is actually a general mental health counseling degree. So you will gain experience in family therapy as well as grief and trauma, as well substance abuse. You will gain training in all of that. So that's built into the course. So you can choose which focus you would like to be in. And your salary will be dependent on where you're working at, what work setting you want to do. And so you can go ahead and look in your area to see what is the average salary for counselors in your area. I just want to pause real quick and say hi to everyone that came in. My name is Charisse. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. Yeah, let me keep going. Reason number 5 is that you can learn anywhere at any time. So I can vouch for this because of when I completed my master's in psychology, we had a learning management system called Canvas, and I was literally able to access it on my phone. I was able to listen to lectures, audiobooks, read research papers, all on my phone. So you can even access this to your iPad or your computer anywhere, which I really, really enjoyed, because I was working full-time at my parish prior to this, and I was able to be a part-time student. So it is asynchronous in the sense that students can be online anytime to complete the coursework. So outside of, weekly due dates, you can really learn on your own time, whatever is most convenient for you. So that's the difference really with like in-person classes, right? You have to be there at a certain time at a certain place. But for the asynchronous learning, you can learn at any time. And I think that's a great benefit for many of our students who are still working. There are synchronous times. So there are prearranged times when students meet online with their cohort, with their professors, and that will just be dependent on what the professor asks for each course. So that will be predetermined ahead of time, so you can adjust your schedule accordingly. So let's get down to the acceptance requirements. So you must have received a bachelor's degree from a regionally accredited or internationally recognized school. And we're not looking for a specific major either. So for example, when I was doing my master's in psychology, my background is actually in engineering. And I didn't need to do a bachelor's in psychology to be accepted here at DNU. Minimum overall 3.0 GPA and a 4.0 scale. If that's something that you think that's going to hinder your admissions, please feel free to email me. I'll have my contact here at the end, and we can discuss that a little bit further. So we need the original transcript. So either your institution forwards it to us, or sometimes they send it now electronically. Essentially, if the transcript passes through your hands, then that's not official. So we need the official original transcripts. For those who are completing their bachelor's sometime soon, we need to wait until that transcript actually says conferred degree. Okay. You must take the GRE. So totally understand a lot of questions about the GRE. Bad news, you have to take it, but good news, we're not looking for a specific score. What we're really trying to see is if we want you as a student to succeed in our program. So we want to see your verbal and your written scores. Don't worry about the math score. But that's really what we're looking for in a GRE. So we're not looking for any specific score. Must complete and submit all admissions documents. That includes your letter of recommendation, essays, resume, etc. After all that, you must complete financial packaging. If you're looking into financial aid, you can have a discussion with financial aid and then be accepted by the admissions acceptance committee. For those of our international students, you can submit your transcript through an equivalency agency, and I can send you that link as well. But generally, that's not a problem. You can I can send you that link. And then those who are from non-native English-speaking countries must take the TOEFL. So let's talk about the total and tuition investment. There's $925 per credit, and this is a 66 graduate hour program. So that comes down to $61,050. There's a tech fee per class as well as a lab fee, and then the total residency fees. Remember, those are the three residencies that we're talking about. So it comes down to around $5,000 for a total of $67,500. So I totally know that seems like a big elephant right now. So, and remember that this is not an upfront payment you have to do. This is something that's gradual. And we'll talk about how we can tackle this elephant. So as grad school, the grad school can really be affordable. So of course we participate through the federal aid student loan program. Graduate loans work a little bit different than undergrad loans, so definitely apply for that FAFSA. Employer tuition reimbursement, depending on who you work with, they might be able to reimburse you with tuition. We fully participate in approved veterans funding through the GI Bill, as well as AmeriCorps. We are a yellow ribbon school. This is something you can look into if you have military connections. We have a great scholarship program, actually. If you on our website under financial aid and tuition, there's a scholarship website on there where there's a competitive 50% scholarship and 25% scholarship essays that you have to write, but that will be a great way to make your tuition more affordable. There you can go through private funds, and there are agencies I know all around the nation that actually can help you match funds. So I know, for example, in Texas, there are certain Catholic organizations that if you apply and you tell them that you're going to plan to work in a Catholic institution, or let's say a Catholic counseling center, for example, they can help you match funds into your tuition. And then also DMU, depending on that Catholic nonprofit, can also match up to $2,000. There are cash plans also as well. So basically, I actually did cash plans when I was a student. There was an amount that I had to pay before every term, and essentially I set up a monthly payment plan with DMU, interest-free. So that was very helpful for me as someone that needed to work full-time and was a part-time student. This is a great federal program called the National Health Service Corps. If you look it up on Google, it's the first thing that pops up. So they can reward up to $50,000 for tuition costs if you're choosing to serve in an area designated either low income or underserved. So if you actually look at their website, there's like a little map that you can search around your area to see if there's any areas they say that is low income or underserved. And if you choose to work there for, I believe, 2 years after your program, then they can reimburse they can reimburse your tuition depending on where you apply. So you can definitely look into that. We have a handful of our students that actually did this and helped their tuition. We have several partners at DMU. If you're associated with any of these partners, this is not a comprehensive list. We have a much larger list and it's growing steadily. So if you have any questions about that, we can always discuss that a little bit further. But there are certain dioceses that we are partners with, certain Catholic nonprofits. Focus, for example, is a great organization. So definitely look into that and email me if you have any questions about our DME partners so we can hopefully get you a tuition reduction. Our overall, again, our master's in counseling acceptance requirements is that you must have a bachelor's degree, minimum 3.0 GPA, must take the GRE and complete the interview process. So even after once you complete all of the documentation, the transcripts, essays, letter of recommendation, etc., there are 2 more video conferencing interviews. So one with admissions counselor, either with me or Julie Cipriano, and another one with a group of applicants and faculty. And that's where they really want to see how you are, how you present yourself as a person, your desires for this program, what your goals are. So this is a way for us to really know who you are and a great way to stand apart from the crowd. So these are the 4 questions that you should really ask yourself if master's in counseling is the right path for you. Do you have a desire to help heal the whole person, help people flourish? Do you want a career that enables you to answer the question, how can I help people? What can I do to make a positive contribution to other people's lives? Can you be an instrument of healing? As well as, can you commit to a successful completion in the program if accepted? So essentially, I want you to really think that there's really a difference between counseling and psychology, in the sense where counselors are really doing that face-to-face interaction with people, that's what they want to do. They want to approach each person one by one. They want to see how they can help this person flourish and heal. So I truly admire counselors for that. I think that's a really great calling. And if this path is really right for you, I would love to help you in that journey. So here is the application process. There's sections 1 through 8 in the online application for admission, which probably takes around 20 minutes to fill. It doesn't take too long. I don't want you to get hung up on, let's say, if you're not sure yet who you're going to send your letter of recommendation form to. Go ahead and just fill it out, who you think you're going to send it to, and then you're going to end up sending that link to that person anyway, for example. Begin the financial aid process by completing the FAFSA, if that is what you're choosing to do to fund your education. Submit all required documents, your essay, resume, transcripts, recommendations, and the GRE. So once all of those documents, again, are received and the financial aid process is complete, then we can move forward with the 2 video conference interviews. And after that, they will be notified of their admission decision. So I highly recommend that you do, if you're choosing to do this path, to do the GRE right away for sure, because it takes about 2 weeks for us to receive those scores. And we're already looking, that's almost Thanksgiving, December time. So go ahead and get your GRE scheduled for that. And as well as think about it, our admissions deadline actually for applications is early December. And if you still have to go through the GRE, the interview process, I mean, think about it. I don't think you would want to complete this process during the holidays. So start thinking about applying as soon as possible. So classes begin here January 10th for our spring cohort. And we are already constantly doing interviews for this program. If there are any questions, please feel free to put in the Q&A. I'm sorry for those who had come in the middle, but don't worry, this webinar is being recorded, so you can watch it again later. I have a question here from Lori. What's the difference between this degree in counseling versus psychology? So the first main difference for sure for master's in counseling is that it is a licensed degree. You are wanting to work face-to-face with people and helping them in their brokenness, helping them diagnose what is going on and helping them flourish. The master's in psychology is much more of an applied psychology focus. So the majority of our students, the students in master's in psychology are those that are currently working in their field, whether they're human resources, in ministry, or even in the healthcare field, and they just want to have the tools to be able to help improve their environment, help maybe possibly to understand how the mind works, to be able to interact with people better, to be able to lead the organizations better. So the Master in Psychology has that applied psychology focus. So we have a leadership track, a marriage and family track, and especially for those who want to do clinical psychology, for example, we have a pre-PhD track for that as well. We have a new track in Master Psychology for bioethics for our healthcare professionals that want to learn, understand the challenges that they have in the medical field and how they can address it well. It's actually a really cool track. So are there any other questions for our Masters in Counseling program? Anything unclear? Would love to go through it. I'm going to actually put this up. So if there are any other questions for me, happy to talk about whatever questions you have that I wasn't able to address here in this webinar. How long are the residencies? The residencies are about 4 days. So it starts Wednesday night through Sunday. So it's about 4 days. And the hotel is maybe 200 yards away from the campus. So it's actually a very nice walk. It's not that far. And then how do people with full-time jobs tend to keep their job while doing this? So in terms of being a student, there is a full-time route and a part-time route. For those who want to do the full-time route, that means being essentially a full-time student. You'll probably be taking about 35 to 40 hours per week on studies. That will take probably around 3 years to complete. And then those with full-time jobs, meaning they're only going to take 1 class per term. It's a slower route. It'll take about 5 years. So it is possible to complete this program as a part-time student. If you already have a master's degree, is the GRE still required? That's something that we can look at. You would have to send us your transcript, and so we can see your GPA scores, how you did academically, and we can discuss that further with the program director to see if we can get that waived. Not every application we get for waivers are received, but we do look at your master's transcript. Let's see, the residence. Oh, sorry, where are the residencies? Yeah, actually, Kyle, yeah, the residencies are not that long, but it is intensive. You are on campus 8 hours to start practicing those basic counseling skills. It is intensive. So the residencies our residencies are in our Virginia campus. It is in Sterling, Virginia. It's right by Dulles Airport. Really close to Dulles Airport, actually. There's basically a 10-minute hotel ride. Due to the fact that there are 3 residents, with the rest being online, does that qualify as truly being a hybrid program or K-Prep? I'm asking because a veteran utilizing GI Bill. Yes, sir. Yes, it does. So it is hybrid. So we do, again, majority of it is online with 3 residencies, and we are K-Prep accredited. K-Prep approved it. No problem. Oh, lovely. If you're utilizing GI Bills, we can definitely talk with financial aid to discuss that. Okay, make sure you try to get your letter, what is it called? A certificate of eligibility, your current one, so we can talk about that with financial aid. And there are 2 sets of 8-week single classes when doing it part-time. How does it work if someone needs to take a semester off? Oh, thank you, Lori. In terms of doing things part-time, let's say if you needed to take a leave of absence, that's something you would discuss with the program director. So let's say, for example, I had a friend that was pregnant during the program, and she took a leave of absence for 2 terms. I had another one say that she was going to take an extended trip to the Holy Land, so she also took a leave of absence. So that is possible. There's a limited number of leaves of absences that you can request for, however. Okay, so depending on how that works. In your situation, that's something we would discuss with the program director, but it is possible. Let's say if you needed to stop, you needed to pause for a term, for example. Questions? Let me look and make sure I have answered everything. Let's see. Following residencies, differences, awesome. Well, everyone, I might have missed earlier when I was starting. If I have a degree in engineering, can I take it? Absolutely. And how do I know this? Because I also have a degree in it. My bachelor's was in engineering. So I worked in the oil field for a few years, and I was really missing that social component. I really had this heart. I wanted to help people. So they didn't mind that my degree was engineering. They would just want to make sure you have a willing, a helping heart is what we're really looking for. So that is no problem if you have a degree in engineering. So we would be starting all over. We would be starting from the ground up. We would start understanding how we can help people flourish. And then we'll start doing basic counseling skills to advanced counseling skills. And that's when you start going into your practicum and internships, et cetera. So the bachelor's degree in engineering, no problem. I'm kind of curious about where people are thinking about entering the counseling field, whether it's marriage and family, or if it's grief and trauma. So when I was at the residency in October for our new students, a lot of them said grief and trauma, which is absolutely amazing. You know, our world right now really needs good Catholic counselors that want to heal the whole person. So I think it's amazing that we have that ability. There's a handful I talked to that wanted to do marriage and family, which is great. A lot of them wanted to work in their parish and help their own community. So there are many routes you can take with the counseling. Is there variability? No, there isn't. It's generally just like a set course. You take it one at a time in order. I very much like to help veterans. Oh, that's great. Absolutely. That's a wonderful place to start your counseling career. Our veterans definitely need help. That's amazing. Oh, it's almost Veterans Day, right? So thank you for your service. So the counseling classes are very muchly in order. You take them in order. Yes, thank you so much, Dennis, for really concerning to do this. I think that's a great place to start your counseling career. Anybody else? I just want to be here on here just a little longer to see if anyone has any other questions. We'd love to hear if you want to go into any specific career path for your counseling. Love to hear that. I know someone that I talked to recently wants to be a school counselor. They were a teacher before and want to go into school counseling. So I was like, that's great. This is perfect. Is this degree valid in Texas too? Yes. Yes, it is. All courses are in order. If someone starts in the summer, no. All of our cohorts are full. So depending the cohort will really depend if you're doing part-time or full-time, right? And then they'll shift as you continue your classes. So you'll see them all year round. No worries on that one. If I could put all the requirements together for January, when's the next session? The next start will be summer, which is mid to late May. Just kind of depends. Last year they started the week, I think, before Memorial Day weekend. So I think it was late May last year. Need more male counselors as well. Nice to see several here interested. Oh, absolutely. I think that's great. You do need male counselors for sure. And I kind of love like the difference in perspectives that men can bring as well. Like I love seeing all of the I talked to a lot of the women that were in residencies, but to have male counselors as well is just so important. Absolutely. Someone's finishing up another master's part-time. Could a driven person handle doing one of these courses and one of those? That would be considered probably a full-time student if you're doing a part-time one class and another part-time class. So it might be considered a full-time student. So let's say one course, for example, will probably take you 15 hours a week, 15, 20 hours a week. So factor that into your scheduling. So what I really recommend for those probably who have not done online study in a while is to really set your schedule. Like see hours every day and say, this is definitely going to be for this class. This is definitely going to be for this class, and really practice your scheduling. That way you still have time. You can parse out time for free time with your family, doing other work. That way you can really fully immerse yourself into the coursework. Everyone. You have details on the curriculum? Does DME follow a specific ideology, say Carl Jung or Adrian? Or is this particular to professor? Okay, that's a great question. So this is our ideology, the Catholic Christian meta model of the person. I can send you at least the webpage to this links, and it's a textbook about this thick, but it actually didn't feel like it was that thick. I thought it was very approachable. And so the Catholic Christian meta model of the person, again, we're looking at the person holistically. We're not, we don't want just to fix what's broken. I think we can probably attribute it also to Seligman, who did positive psychology. I remember reading Jung in one of my courses in master's psychology as well. So it's not geared to a specific psychology ideology, but this is what we base off all of our teachings on, is how to help the whole person flourish. And again, not just focusing on what's broken. And I can send you more info on that. I understand the psychology degree is more research focused. For the counselor degree, are there a lot of papers already? What do finals look like? Okay, so when I was in my master's in psych, oh yes, I will do that, Dan. Let me make sure I make a note of that. Okay, for our, there's a lot of papers to write. There will be. And that's why we're asking you to take the GRE, so we can help you succeed. So for those who have not written papers in a long time, don't worry. I remember I was an engineer. I remember my engineering courses, I had one writing class and that was it. So I want you to understand that we're going to ease you in to writing more and more papers. They're not going to just come out the first week with a 10-page paper. For sure, there were no finals at my master in psychology, but I'm not sure if counseling has finals. But many papers. I learned to actually love writing after. And also we are doing papers APA style. So American Psychological Association style. That's something you will learn about in your program orientation. You'll start learning about how to write APA style, what is required, how do you reference things correctly, reference research papers, books, etc. There is at least that part of orientation that you go through. It wasn't that bad. It's okay. It's doable. So glad you mentioned Jung. I'm presently finishing my PhD in Jungian psychology at PGI. Would you say that there's heavy emphasis on Jungian orientation toward approaching counseling? I wouldn't say it's a heavy orientation to any specific ideology outside of this one that we're using. Like this textbook, when I was doing my master's in psychology, was used in every class. It was amazing. Oh my gosh, that's great. Actually, if you already have a PhD in Jung psychology, this is something we can probably talk a little bit more further, Dennis. I'm assuming this, you want to be more clinical. You want to do more clinical work. I'm guessing your PhD was more research based. Okay, I see. That makes sense. So I don't know if this is something you'd like to consider, Dennis, but maybe we do have a PsyD program that's clinical. If that's not feasible, of course, but that's something to think about. Already ordered the meta model book. What would you recommend someone hone in on? Starting getting involved. Sounds like the best, since it doesn't sound like the best use of my time to read it all. Ah, okay. So when you look at the textbook, it's actually broken up into theology, philosophy, psychology. I would read the chapter titles and see which one really interests you the most, or something that maybe that you don't understand yet. So definitely the first two chapters on the introduction to flourishing, introduction to the positive psychology, ideology really that we focus on, and then see which section really you feel like you're lacking in. So I think the chapters in the meta model textbook is actually very it's very straightforward. Like if you want to talk more about the rational, or if you want to talk more the emotional side, or maybe the scriptural side that you don't understand. Oh, I think you said you're at a master's in theology, right? Okay, maybe not that side, but maybe the psychological side is something you want to think about and read through. So read that introduction first and then go into the chapters that maybe you don't know quite well yet. Is there ever a possibility of bachelor's level psychology coursework to count towards any credit hours of master's theology courses when I speak to them? Okay, we can talk to the program director about it to see if there's any equivalency. But really, bachelor's level is not graduate level. And also we only have one theology course, I think. So that was something that we can ask the program director about, because this is a master's in science of counseling. So we do go through a lot of science courses. Okay. Any other questions? I definitely want to respect your time. Actually, Kyle, I'm going to make sure I write down your question about this one as well. Master's in theology equivalence. Okay, I'll make sure I get that going. Oh, I think there was a new Q&A. Do you have a nursing program as well? No, we don't have a nursing program. It's just counseling or psychology. Great. Oh, I had a great time talking with everyone. This is great. I love this interaction. Because I think sometimes people think that online study is very, very boring and isolating. At DMU, it's not. I don't know how many times I talk to my professors every week. I don't know how many times I talk to my cohort, and I still talk to them today, even after I graduated. So it never seems like I was ever alone completing this work. And you honestly need each other to help encourage each other to move forward. So it's very important to have that connection. Are there any other questions? Oh, these are great questions. Class sizes. So our cohort, the last cohort I saw was about 36 students, but that was for the intro class. So not necessarily all of them will drop out by the end, but you will have a few withdrawals here and there, but they're never more than, I guess, 40. When I was in the master's psychology, it was never more than 25. It was very close-knit. Thanks, Danny. Great. There are no other questions. My gosh, thank you so much for everyone's time. I know it's probably lunchtime for some of you, and you're probably watching or listening to this at work. So I really thank everyone for their time. I'm gonna again just take a moment to just write that down. If you have any other further questions, I'd love to work with you in your journey to becoming a counselor. This is amazing program. It's very unique, very different, but one of the few Catholic counseling programs out there. So anyway, thank you again for your time, and I will see everyone hopefully in the applications process, and I hope to talk to y'all very soon. Thank y'all. Bye, everyone. Oh, thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, everyone. Bye, y'all.